Hey everyone, MB here. Alright, so this is going to be kind of an experimental video. So here's what's up. I just beat Pokemon Uranium. I was actually very impressed with the game. It really went way beyond my expectations for what it could have been as a fan game and a fake Pokemon sequel, and I was honestly kind of impressed. That being said, while I was impressed by the game, the actual Pokemon in the game range from being either really good ideas to ugly fake mon, which I have like very mixed feelings on. So I'm gonna probably do a full review of the whole game in like a couple of days or a couple of weeks based on my schedule. But in the meantime, real fast, while I have like some time, I wanted to just kind of comb through the Pokemon Uranium Pokedex and kind of like rank up all the Pokemon based on how I feel about them. And I'm doing it live because I kind of don't have a script for this, so I figured I'd just like say what was in my heart because I just beat the game and like relatively all these Pokemon are like fresh in my mind, or like some of them I might not have actually encountered in the game, so that'll be interesting too. Anyway, I'm just gonna try to do what I can with this. Okay, I did something similar right before Legends Arceus came out. All right, anyway, let's try this out. So the first Pokemon in this stupid game is the Grass Cat Pokemon. Ironically enough, there ended up being a literal Grass Cat Pokemon later. So strange enough, good idea, and it actually came up later. In this game, it's kind of just okay. I did not pick the Grass Cat Pokemon, so let's see, where am I gonna land it on the list? Not cringe. I want to say good idea because they did end up making this into a legit Pokemon later. But yeah, not the best idea. Okay. It's going to take me a little bit to get the hang of this. So then the weird thing about Pokemon Uranium is that all the Pokemon had 2-stage evolutions and then a Mega Evolution instead of the typical 3-stage evolution. So the Grass Cat evolved into a cyborg Grass Cat with a floral pattern, kind of like a Frankenstein cyborg kind of deal. I guess I'm indifferent to that. It's not really a good design, but it's not a bad design either. It's a good idea for a Pokemon, but I'm going to say indifferent because I don't really dig the design. Next up was the Fire Raptor Pokemon. The Fire Raptor Pokemon ended up being the starter I went with. I have mixed feelings about it. The first stage was pretty cute, which is why I picked it. It was like kind of a rip-off Charmander, but a little different. So I'm going to say good design. That being said, its sprite from behind looked pretty janky, but I'll still give it a good design. Then after that was our Chilies. Our Chilies ended up being like pretty much one of my favorite Pokemon in the game. It literally saved my ass like more times than I can count. So Archili's ended up being one of my main Pokemon that I relied on in the game. I don't like that it has kind of a cat face, which is like very stupid as far as fake mon go. But nonetheless, it ended up being my strongest Pokemon in the game, so I have to give it God tier just because it saved my ass so many times. After that is the Water Dog dude. Water Dog, I don't know. I'm a little indifferent. In fact, I'm going to give it cringe because it has no eyebrows. I feel like it not having eyebrows is like a critical mistake that Nintendo would never make. I mean, I know it's some kind of weird fish dog, but still, the fact it doesn't have eyebrows is just, I feel like, a straight up mistake. All right, then follow up. It's evolution. I don't feel much better about that either. It's like basically electric Vaporeon. Yeah, it's not a good design. I'm not indifferent. It's straight up too derivative of Vaporeon, so cringe. After that is Chippy Monk, the Chipmunk Pokemon. I'm going to say I'm indifferent to him. He's basically the Rattata in this game, except he evolves into an electric type. Not really a good Pokemon, pretty forgettable, and you don't really encounter him after you're like past like the starter areas, so yeah, just kind of indifferent. His design has like a very rip-off Pikachu vibe, so yeah, that's about it. He evolves into a much cooler Pokemon, which is this thing over here. I'm having trouble grabbing. Why can't I grab it? Hey. There it is. Oh, okay. It's badly cropped because I'm doing this off a third-party website. Yeah, so its evolution, I forget what the evolution was called. I want to say Kintamunk. I'm going to put that in the good category because, actually, good idea category because the design was pretty ugly, but I think I at least like the idea of it being a normal electric type. Hey, Daniel Hakai, you ever played Pokemon Uranium? I just beat it, so I'm like going through all the Pokemon. All right, let's keep on going. All right, so next up was the bird. The bird in this game was like the equivalent of Pidgey in like a normal Pokemon game. That being said, I actually like the bird a lot. I like the fact that the bird looked like it had like a mouth on its belly, which I thought was a pretty cool detail. I'm not sure if it actually had a mouth or it was just like a weird design, but nonetheless, weird design is good design, so that gets good design category. Then the bird had a second evolution because all the fucking birds do. The second evolution was okay. Pretty par for the course as far as Pokemon birds go. I don't know. It was okay. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as the first form or the third form. It's actually a pretty good game. Like, I just beat it, and it actually really holds up. Then finally, the third form. The third form actually was another Pokemon that ended up on my team because even though it's a ripoff of Pidgeotto for the most part, the third form of the bird is a special sweeper, which most of the birds in Pokemon games are not. So just on the fact that it was a normal special sweeper gave it a pretty good unique quality that I wasn't expecting out of it. All right, don't move its relatives up. Okay, there we go. I gotta move to the left. All right, so after that was the Bugbear line. The Bugbear line was really weird. They were basically this game's version of Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree, but the big difference was because they're also like bear based, they were also fairy type, so the final evolution was like fairy bug. I'm gonna give the first form cringe because it was pretty creepy. Also, the second form was also just as creepy. The third form, so here's the thing about the third form. The third form really saved my ass because I ended up using it like Butterfree. And the third form, I think it's ugly. It has too many like fake mon qualities, like the fact it looks way too much like a dog or a cat or a Neopet. But just on the fact that it was a normal bug fairy Pokemon that I was like able to like really utilize for like capturing Pokemon, I'm gonna categorize it as a good idea. And it did stay up into my team from like the start of the game to the end of the game. Okay, next Pokemon. Oh, these guys. Okay. So the next set of Pokemon is pretty weird. They were basically this game's version of Geodude, except they were rock and steel, and then the final evolution was steel. I'm gonna say that for the first form was named like Barrel, and it was like just a rock Pokemon with a weird hat. Is there going to be a free suit tomorrow night? Hunter Iggy, I don't think so based on the way they've changed the schedule. But we'll find out. But I'm not counting on it. We'll find out though. Alright, so anyway, Barrel. Barrel, yeah, it was just a dumb design and a dumb Pokemon. If you stuck with it, it got an even worse evolution, which was like Deer Eel, which was like a dog. Like a dog wearing armor. As much as I was kind of okay with this design, the thing of it is, it was very like poorly like rendered in like the design of the game. Also, look how it looks kind of similar to like the water starter. Again, like with this like lack of detail, and I don't know, I just thought it wasn't that cool. That being said, I did end up using the final evolution, the horse thing. I wouldn't say it was a good design, but I'm going to give this one another good idea category. So the final evolution ends up being a steel horse Pokemon, and it looks pretty epic in the game. It's not that strong, but since it's pure steel type, I was actually able to get some pretty good like usage out of it. It saved my butt a couple of times because Steel Pokemon are the only Pokemon that resist nuclear types. That being said, I don't know. It was okay, but like not the best thing ever. All right, next up were the Ground Dragon Pokemon. All right, so the Ground Dragons are in another like situation. The first one is basically this game's version of Diglett, except it's a dragon. And I'm going to give it cringe just because, again, I feel like the sprite was not very well made. Like, a lot of these Pokemon I'm categorizing as cringe is just because I didn't feel like the sprite work was, like, up to the usual caliber of, like, where Pokemon games should be. But that's because it's a fan game. But, like, some of them were, so it's like, how are you going to get there on some things and not all the things? So I'm like, come on, man. Police your quality. Anyway, so yeah, the ground snake thing was basically this game's version of Diglett, and it was okay. Not great, not terrible. That being said, it evolved into a ground dragon type, a 2-stage ground dragon with arena trap, which is actually a pretty damn interesting combo. So the ground dragon, I'm going to give that a good design. Well, here's the thing. You know what? Not good design, good idea. Because the idea was really good because it's a ground dragon Pokemon. By the way, the thing about Pokemon Uranium is like a lot of the Pokemon that they introduced in this game are ground types. I don't know why they're ground types. It's just like the people making this like were really into ground types and like the way that the usual Pokemon people are like way too into water types. In fact, on that note, they actually introduced very few water types in this game. But yeah, so the ground dragon, I liked it. It was in my team for a while. I liked that it had arena trap. It was my first dragon Pokemon in the game. It was pretty strong, all things considered, but I can't fully love it because it's literally just ground Charizard with 2 heads. Like, the fact it has a freaking Charizard head, like, disqualifies it from being, like, a completely original cool idea. I'm, like, even in, like, the real Pokemon games, there's too many Pokemon that are, like, derivative of, like, Pikachu and Charizard at this point just because, like, they're so damn popular. All right, next Pokemon were this game's version of Zubat. I don't even remember what they were called, and I hated them. They're just like these little purple balls with like a fluffy tail and bat wings. They were not cool at all. I killed a billion of them. I did have one in my team, and on a sad note, this was my first shiny Pokemon. The shiny's like bright purple, and I caught it. Yeah, I just don't really like this one. Then I had its evolution. This Pokemon was also my team for a while because it was like one of the first Pokemon I caught. But it really didn't hold up, and it really wasn't a good Pokemon because it was poison type. Like, the baby version was okay because it had Levitate, so that made it resistant to ground. But then when it evolved, it lost that, and then suddenly, like, with all the ground Pokemon in this game, it was like really, really fucking done in. So yeah, I don't like the evolution. It's a hippo with like bat wings. It doesn't seem like it can walk because it evolved from a flying Pokemon. And the sprite is just, again, really bad, lacking eyebrows. Don't like the sprite. All right, moving on from there is freaking Dunsparce. Even though Dunsparce is a legit Pokemon and I should just put it in the legit Pokemon category, I'm going to carelessly put Dunsparce into the God tier category because it's Dunsparce. And Dunsparce is a master Pokemon troll. So yeah, Dunsparce is in the God tier category even though he's an existing Pokemon. Now, what's really cool about this is in this game, because Dunsparce is so God tier, they made an evolution of Dunsparce called Dunsarif. Now, I actually wanted Dunsarif, but you actually can't get it until the end of the game because they kind of like walled it with like the way the game works. Even though you can get like Dunsparce really early on. I think the idea is just to like get Dunsparce early, care for it, and then at the end you get Dunsarif. Kind of like a Gyarados kind of thing. Dunsarif gets a good idea mark. I honestly, you know what? Fuck it. Actually, Dunsarif moves up to God tier. Because it's a good idea, it's a good design, and fuck it, Dunsparce needs an evolution. I really hope Dunsarif or something like it eventually becomes a real Pokemon in the future. Because Dunsparce is just one of those Pokemon from like Gen 2 that's like got a lot of personality, but never gotten the love it needs. And I was really happy that in this game it got some focus. Actually, there were a couple of things in this game where they like focused on Dunsparce, and for that reason, Pokemon Uranium was pretty enjoyable. Okay, anyway, so moving on. All right, the next line I kind of hate. I think I hate this one all the way through. The Poison Frog line. These guys are just like rip-offs of like Poliwag, Politoed, Poly whatever. The baby one is just like this fat baby frog. Oh, and all these Pokemon are like water poison. The baby one, again, it's just stupid looking. The middle one, stupid looking. And then the third one is really creepy and it looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Also, the third one has like a Poliwhirl swirl going on, which makes me wonder if like all these Pokemon were supposed to be like weird relatives of the Poly line. Nonetheless, these Pokemon just didn't really work for me, and also like early on in the game, they're really OP and hard to deal with. So yeah, these Pokemon I just did not like at all. All right, moving on from there. Next Pokemon is Magikarp, which is just a legit Pokemon. So Magikarp is the first Pokemon I'm going to put into the legit Pokemon category. That being said, you can get nuclear Magikarp in this game, which actually looks a lot cooler than classic Magikarp. Up next is Gyarados. Gyarados is another legit Pokemon, but I did have a nuclear Gyarados in my team from the time there's like a nuclear Gyarados like forced encounter. I caught it and then it like was in my team to the end of the game. Nuclear Gyarados was kind of okay. I just kind of forced myself to use it, but then near the end of the game, actually post game, I realized I could like purify it and make it listen to me, and that was kind of like a waste of my time, but I don't know. It earned its spot in my team, and it was nice to have a reason to use Gyarados again, even though Gyarados is like such an old Pokemon. Simple things make things new again. All right, moving on is the 3-stage cat family. I would compare the cat family to like the Slack Off line from like Ruby and Sapphire. The first one's cute. The second one's better. The third one's big. I'm not sure how I feel about this family. Oh shit! Yeah, I gotta drag them up. All right. I won't say they're cringe. Let me keep dealing with these cats. Okay, there we go. Oh, I literally have to move it up the list. Shit. Okay, I do not do this often. In fact, the last time I did this was also Pokemon. All right, so I'm going to move these to the indifferent category. Blah. With the indifferent category, thing of it is... Actually, okay, let me do this. The second and third evolutions, I'm going to give good design. Possibly good idea. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Second stage, good design. I'm actually going to move the third evolution to God tier because the thing of it is, even though every Pokemon game has like cat Pokemon, you don't usually get like a third stage cat Pokemon. So for that reason, I'm putting the third stage of this cat Pokemon in the God tier category. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like, I do think the second evolution is like a good design, although it's a little derivative of Meowth with like the hind legs and the whiskers and all that shit. Completely indifferent on the baby form. All right, let's move on. Mankey is in this game. Never much cared for Mankey. Primeape is in this game too. On the third end of the Mankey family, they added a third stage evolution for Primeape. I'm going to categorize this into the good idea category because I do think giving Primeape a third stage evolution is a good idea. I just don't 100% know how I feel about... Well, let me say this. It's a good idea, but I don't like this design. The design they made is ugly. I don't like the fact it has a crown. I don't like the fact that it looks like it's smaller than Primeape. I don't like the fact that it has Mankey's tail again, which is like a recessive trait. So yeah, overall, third stage Primeape evolution, good idea, but I don't like the way they designed it in this game. All right, next up after that is the Owlcat thing. Owlcat thing gets cringe because it's a freaking Neopet. It's literally a Neopet. I don't want a fucking Neopet in my Pokemon game. It's just a cat with fucking angel wings. Like, oh my god, that's so basic. I don't know what to say. Like, it looks like a freaking 10-year-old girl designed it. Don't like it at all. Moving on. All right, next up is its evolution, the Owlcat. The Owlcat's a little bit better of a design, so I'm going to move that up to indifferent. Just because at least it kind of like justifies the tree a little, since it moves it from being like a stupid cute design to an actual like functional Pokemon design. All right, next after that is the Lotad family featuring Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo. Fun fact, I don't think I ever encountered a Lombre in this game. I know I caught a Lotad, and I know I fought a Ludicolo, but I don't think I saw a Lombre ever. I know it's got to be out there since Lotad and Ludicolo are there, though. All right, so then after that, there are elemental bugs in this game. The elemental bugs are kind of tricky. All right, so the first one is an ant Pokemon, and it's like a fire ant, which I'm just going to legitimately say is a good idea. I'm also going to give that to its evolution as well. I didn't much care for the design of the fire ant Pokemon, though. For one thing, the first stage of the fire ant is called S'more, which really made me think it was going to like evolve into like a s'more ant, like covered in s'mores, because Pokemon is just stupid like that. Like, I thought it was going to be like one of those things where it's like some kind of weird like food Pokemon, or like, you know, the way like ants get into food. I thought it was gonna like play with that and be like it evolves into a piece of food infested with ants, kind of like that. But nah, it just evolves into a bigger fire ant, which is honestly not that creative and kind of a letdown. So yeah, that was disappointing. Oh, 1 second. No, everything is fine. Okay, moving along. Okay, so the next Pokemon is the Brainfish. The Brainfish family, very interesting set of Pokemon. They were water psychic, kind of replacing Slowpoke Slowbro in a lot of ways. They had very similar stats. I'm not sure how many Pokemon in this game are just like old Pokemon that they reskinned. But in this case, yeah, the Brainfish kind of felt like they just reskinned Slowpoke. So, how do I feel about this one? I'm going to give this one an okay mark in the design department, but it wasn't that fun of a Pokemon to fight against. That being said, I thought its evolution, where it became basically Fishakiter, you know what? I'm going to give that a god tier design just because it was so weird and original. And I think it's one of the better designs to come out of this game. Next up is Atkins and Arbok. So the thing of it is, even though Atkins and Arbok are in this game, Atkins is just plain old Atkins, although you do fight nuclear Atkins. They added Nuclear Arbok, which was a pretty freaking cool Pokemon. And then on top of that, they also added Mega Arbok. Mega Arbok's now on this list, but just because Mega Arbok was a good idea. Okay, actually, Mega Arbok is a good idea, not a good design. So, good idea category it is. So, I'm putting Arbok in good idea, but that's actually Mega Arbok. Just think of it that way. Okay, next up was Tanscoon and Tanscure. These guys were really fake. Not good designs at all. I didn't like them at all. How would I describe them? I guess I'll give the first stage a good idea because it's a hyena-like thing. It's kind of like Poochyena, but not exactly the same. Although, again, like I was just saying about how the one thing was a reskin Slowpoke, this line kind of feels like a reskin Mightyena Poochyena. I will give the evolution a good design pass, although it kind of looks like a Digimon for a bunch of reasons. Okay, so then after that are the water bugs. So after the fire bugs, there were a series of water bugs. So in terms of the water bugs, the first water bug looks too stupid. So I'm going to categorize him as cringe. The second water bug, though, I'm indifferent. It's very similar to that water bug they added in Sun and Moon, except it's literally just a spider covered in bubbles or soap suds or something. So I guess it's like a moist spider, which is pretty creepy when you think about it. Anyway, that being said, wasn't a good Pokemon, just kind of kill fodder along throughout the game, so not really something I enjoyed. Next up is the Parrot line. All right, so the Parrot line is kind of a weird group. I'm indifferent to the baby parrot. I will, however, give good design to the second stage and the third stage of the parrot Pokemon. The final evolution was like, how would I put it? I mean, there have been Firebirds. Firebirds is a pretty typical design for Pokemon. But I don't know, I kind of liked this Pokemon and the fact it was a weird, like, low budget ho-ho for whatever reason. So, it wasn't that bad. Wasn't that good, but it was something. All right, next up, as I mentioned, this game has like a hard-on for ground Pokemon. So the next Pokemon is a ground electric Pokemon, and it pretty much looks like a crazy mix between like Sandslash and Pikachu. I'm going to categorize this one as a good idea because we do need a ground electric Pokemon. I'm surprised there isn't one yet. But I don't know, this one fits like into the category of being a Pikachu clone, and this game already has a Pikachu clone, so I don't know. I just wasn't impressed by it. I don't think it was that good either, so it was just one of those Pokemon you kind of forget about. Kind of like a Lickitung or something like that. All right, then next up was the Crystal Rock family. Crystal Rock family was pretty interesting. Here's what I gotta say about Crystal Rock family. I liked the first one, even though it's very similar to freaking Boulder from like Black and White. The second phase, though, I'm not sure how I feel about the second phase. I feel like you need the second phase to get to the third phase, but I don't feel on its own the second phase is a good Pokemon. So I'm going to put the second phase as indifferent. And then the third phase, I'm actually thinking that's a pretty cool ass design. So this one is one of the few ones I'm going to put into God tier. After that, the Mareep line appears because that's classic gold and silver. Nothing to say about the Mareeps in this game. However, the reason they added the Mareeps to this game is they added a second line of opposing black Mareeps. Like, kind of like almost a regional form of Mareep, but they had both versions there, which was kind of interesting. So these regionals, the regionals were actually pretty cool. You know what? I'm actually going to give the regionals like pretty high marks. Even though they are derivative of the Mareep line, I thought they were actually a really good design and probably one of the best designs to come out of this game. All right, so then after that is another one of the elemental bugs. All the elemental bugs actually are all related in a weird way, which is actually kind of cool. Once you figure out how they're related, I want to say it actually makes all the Pokemon look better as like a whole. But on its own, like, all right, so the electric ant, I just did not like that one. I don't know. I don't like a lot of bug Pokemon. The evolution where it becomes a light bulb ant, I'm going to give that one a little bit higher of a mark. Although they completely missed an easy, like, it could have been like a lightning bug. But no, it's just an ant with a light bulb shoved up its ass. Okay, so then after that is a weird pair of Pokemon based on Birdo from Super Mario. It feels like as they went on, they started basing the Pokemon on like different things that you would never base Pokemon on, which is like kind of a cool idea because it's a fan game. You know, like why not do it in a fan game because it's never going to be done anywhere else. On the other hand, some of these Pokemon are like so kind of stupid that I feel like normal Pokemon games would just never be that unoriginal. So I'm like kind of like on the fence of like, is this a good idea or a bad idea? Because it's like not really original. Although some of them are funny. So this one and its pre-evolution are based on Birdo from Super Mario. They also have nuclear forms. I'm going to actually say the nuclear form of the Birdo is a pretty good design. You fight it as a mini boss, exactly like Birdo. And I'm just indifferent to the Prevolution. It's just kind of there. It's a seahorse. Who cares? Next up was the Lunapup family. So here's the thing about the Lunapup family. I actually thought Lunapup was a cool Pokemon. It's like a rock dog Pokemon. And it's actually really, really similar to Rockpuff from like Sun and Moon. But despite that, it was a good Pokemon. Like, I thought it was really cool. I liked the fact that it looked like it was actually made of rocks. So that Pokemon got a lot of respect from me. I did not like its evolution though. Again, this whole kind of line was like very derivative of the Rockruff line from Sun and Moon. I think though this game came out before Sun and Moon, which is kind of ironic, but literally I just have to look at this as like a worse version of like the thing Rockruff evolves into. So I'm going to categorize that into cringe because I didn't like the design. Next up were the Vampire Bats. So the Vampire Bats also remind me of, I want to say, they're Noivern, the Noivern line. Noibat, Noivern. Yeah, so I feel like these are a little bit too derivative of those guys. So I'm going to categorize these guys as cringe as well. And then after that is freaking Boizel and Floatzel. They're stupid. Just put those in there. Keep the families together. Alright, so then after that was the Drogan line. Drogan, different... Those are kind of... Okay, so Drogan's complicated. I'm going to give the first form a God tier design because I actually think a Drillmole is a good idea for a Pokemon. But then, like I was saying, how the other Pokemon are kind of like based on like stupid things. So when it evolves, it's basically based on like Simon from Gurren Lagann. And as much as I love Gurren Lagann, I can't like constitute the basic plagiarism in a Pokemon game. So that's why I'm moving this one to good idea. Also, it has a Mega Evolution where it just straight up becomes Gurren Lagann, which is like so dumb. Alright, next up is Gligar and Glyscor. These are real Pokemon. I love these Pokemon. Gligar's just a good Pokemon, so it is a good Pokemon. Glyscor's in this game. Fun fact, there's a nuclear Glyscor, but because there's only one Gligar, you have to really think about evolving it. I did not evolve the one nuclear Gligar I had, so I never got nuclear Glyscor, but it was in there. Sableye's in there because they're Mega Evolutions and you can do like Mega Sableye. Okay, then we come to the Coconut Crab family. Coconut Crab family I thought was a hilarious idea. The only thing about the Coconut Crab family, I don't really dig the second form. I feel like this could have been a 2-form family. It didn't have to be a 3-form family. I mean, you can see in the second form, it's like growing and the tree's growing, but I don't know. So here's what I'm going to do for this one. I'm going to give the second stage an indifferent rank, but the first stage gets good design and the final stage gets God tier because it's like a living beach. Beach crab made of the beach. That's all cool for me. All right, next after that is Corsola. There's also Nuclear Corsola. Corsola is pretty cool in this game. So they gave it an evolution, which is actually really badass because, you know, nowadays we have Galarian Corsola, which has an evolution, but this is an evolution for Classic Corsola. I'm not sure how I feel about the evolution. Its evolution is Corsoreef, and it's basically just a bigger, freakier looking Corsola. I'm giving it a good idea because I think it is a good idea that Corsola should have an evolution, but I think it's too big and freaky looking to like be that good of an idea. All right, so then let's move on. After that is the Tubjaw Pokemon. One of them was named Tubjaw. I don't remember what the second form was. Here's the thing. This is just a reskin Sharpedo line without Sharpedo's Mega Evolution. So I didn't think these Pokemon were good at all. I mean, they look okay, but since they're literally just Sharpedo and Carvanha, I can't like legitimize them. Next up was the Snail Fortress Pokemon. So these Pokemon too, I want to say they're like water rock types. And the last one is actually surprisingly similar to Mega Lapras. But I don't know. I didn't like them and I thought their sprites were ugly. I'm going to give the third one a pass. And I'm going to say it's a good idea. Although the third one also has like 4 eyes in a way that actually makes me surprisingly uncomfortable. The third form just has a lot of weird like appendages and it's a strange Pokemon. All right, next up is Jelen and Newlin. I did not like these Pokemon at all. I only saw a Nuclear Newlin, which didn't give that good an impression, and Jelen scared me. Every time I saw this Pokemon, the fact it has no face or the fact it's got eyes on its legs just creeped the shit out of me. It's like basically a dog-sized amiibo, which I hate on like topic alone. Moving along is Cottony from Gen Black and White. Cottony is just Cottony. It's got its evolution too. Its evolution. What's its evolution name? I forget. Anyway, long story short, its evolution had a Mega Evolution in this game. But the Mega Evolution looked like ass, so it does not get good marks. Next up is just Misdreavus and Miss Magius. They're in this game. Nothing to write home about. They're just in this game. I know I caught Misdreavus in a cave. I never evolved into Miss Magius. I guess I just needed to Dusk Skull it up, but I never did. Or Duskstone. Next up is Barand. Barand is a weird Pokemon. I'm going to say I'm indifferent to it, although it seemed to be just a reskin of... There was a Pokemon in Black and White, which was like a blue and red dragon, and it basically felt like a reskin of this Pokemon. It was basically this Pokemon, except instead of being... I mean, it was just literally that Pokemon with a different design. I can't remember that Pokemon, but yeah, that's essentially what this is. Sad thing about Barand, I actually almost got a shiny nuclear Barand, but I got it during a double battle, and my battle partner killed it on sight, which like really, really upset me. Like it killed it on sight, and I like didn't even have a chance to like throw the Pokeball. Like massively disappointing. Next one is a Water Slug family. I never encountered the Water Slug family, and this is actually one of my first times seeing its Prevolution. That being said, I do think the final evolution for the Water Slug Pokemon is a god tier idea because the animal that this is actually based on, a lot of people think it's a Pokemon. So yeah, that's a good idea there. Another god tier idea is the UFO Pokemon. There's like a whole like sequence where you fight these UFO Pokemon in like a hayfield. I have to like finish catching one, but like nonetheless, like that was a pretty cool Pokemon. I'm glad there's a UFO Pokemon. UFOs are cool, so that's a cool Pokemon. All right, then after that is a Pokemon that would fit into the sound category. These sound guys are just like these weasels with headphones on, so I'm indifferent to these guys. I don't think they're terrible ideas, and I actually like that. Well, here's the thing, like, I think it's a good Pokemon on its own, but I think it's kind of stupid that the evolution just gets like a little bit taller and then it's like crazier. Like, I don't think this Pokemon like actually changes enough during its evolution to like legitimize it. Yeah, that one's a disappointment. In fact, I'm going to straight up move the evolution to cringe because it fails to enforce itself. Man, I should have got a bottle of water. This is a lot of talking I'm doing right now. Okay, anyway, next up is the Fire Tiger Pokemon. So, I'm indifferent because there ended up being a Fire Tiger in like Gen 7 anyway. Although, wait, I think this game was like in development when Gen 7 existed, so that brings this one down a notch. I don't know, I just don't like tigers, and again, this one looks too much like a fucking Neopet. That being said, I actually think its evolution is pretty cool. I'm actually going to give its evolution the rare good design category because its evolution is some kind of weird prancing fire cat thing with weird ears. I guess it's like based on like that long-eared cat that exists. All right, then up next is the Chimera line. I'm pretty indifferent to the Chimera line. I think their sprites look pretty bad, and Chimeras are like a very classic RPG idea. So they're just kind of there. After that, the next Pokemon family I'm going to give God tier rank to is the Tiki Monkey family. I caught the Tiki Monkey. I never raised it up, but I just think that is generally a really good idea, and it has like strong Yoshi's Island vibes, which I'm into. All right, so then after that, there were some weird bugs. I want to say the weird bugs are kind of similar to Yanmon Yanmega, except the first one doesn't fly. As weird as these weird bugs are, I'm actually going to give them good design props because they are actually good designs and I like them. After that, there are these weird grass chicken dragon things. The grass chicken dragon things are kind of not as... I'm not as fond as them as other Pokemon categories. I'm going to give the baby form indifferent, and then the other two forms, I guess I'll give them good idea because it goes from a chicken dragon into an actual dragon. I don't know. Next on the good idea category is this like construction lifter Pokemon. The construction lifter Pokemon is very, very similar to Duraludon from Gen Sword and Shield. But again, this game came out before that game, so it gets some props for like coming up with that idea. Next up on the God tier category is a baby mammoth Pokemon. I know this Pokemon's pretty derivative of Phanpy, but somehow I like it. It also has a pretty cool evolution. The evolution is a good idea, not a good Pokemon. I think, again, it has bad sprite work, but I don't know. It's a cool cyborg mantis. Or mammoth. Yeah, mammoth, not mantis. It's an okay idea. I've seen better. Next up, so the baby mammoth was a fossil Pokemon. For some reason, both the fossils in this game are like mammals instead of dinosaurs, because I guess dinosaurs are overplayed in this one. The next alternative to the mammoth family is the sloth family. The sloth family, I'm just going to kind of give cringe to. They're electric sloths, and it kind of makes no sense why there would be prehistoric electric Pokemon, especially prehistoric electric Pokemon that have soft sockets as part of their design, when sockets are a modern day human invention, like only dating back like 100 years. Next on the list of ridiculous, stupid idea Pokemon that is so stupid I have to love it is Titanice. Titanice is literally the Titanic as a Pokemon. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, fucking 2,000 people died and you're turning into a fucking Pokemon? Like, I don't know how to comprehend this Pokemon, but, like, distancing myself from the fact that it's based on, like, a massive, like, tragedy of human suffering, the fact that it's a living boat is actually pretty fucking funny. So, again, Titanice, it's one of the best ideas coming out of this game, so it gets a pass. Next up are the Ninja Fish line. All right, so the Ninja Fish line, they're complicated. I'm going to give the Final Evolution a God tier mark because the Final Evolution is like Katana Fish. There's also like Psy Fish and Kunai Fish. I forget what their name is, but long story short, they're all water metal types. And there were Surf Ninjas in this game, so they kind of serve as like the Surf Ninjas like personal Pokemon. In terms of how I feel about these Pokemon, I don't like the baby Pokemon because I think it has bad sprite work. I'm a little bit less judgy of the second form. Second form gets an indifferent. Next up, there were a series of water fairy Pokemon, but I thought their sprite work was really bad. So these go straight in the cringe category. Next up, in terms of actual Pokemon, was Spritzy from X and Y. It's in this game. And it's also got its evolution of Aromatisse. But what's really interesting is they gave it an alternate evolution as a poison fairy type. And this alternate evolution, I'm actually pretty impressed with. The alternate evolution was probably one of the most interesting things to come out of this game. So that also gets a God tier status. Moving along is a dumb fighting fairy type, which I guess you needed, but I don't like the way they execute it. It's just like a jackalope, and then it turns into like an angel jackalope. That's dumb. Another weird Pokemon is Duplicat. Duplicat is this game's version of Ditto, but it's like a much better Ditto. I'm going to give Duplicat a good design because I actually thought the design was pretty interesting, but I don't think it's a good idea because it's just like better than Ditto. By and large, I thought the nuclear Pokemon were pretty cool, since you asked, Mr. Banana. I liked almost all the nuclear Pokemon, except like some of the original nuclear Pokemon. I thought the idea of like the irradiated classic Pokemon were pretty cool. All right, moving on. Next group of Pokemon are the Eevee families. The Eevee families are super legit Pokemon. So we got Eevee, we got Vaporeon, we got Jolteon, we got Flareon, we got Espeon, Umbreon, Leafeon, Glaceon. Sylveon's in this game, which is a fun addition. And lastly, we have Nucleon. So Nucleon is basically this game's mascot and is kind of like one of the most OP Pokemon you can get in the game. It's a Pokemon you get if you just evolve Eevee in your party while there's a nuclear Pokemon next to it. And Nucleon is like OP as fuck. Nucleon pretty much can like sweep any Pokemon in the game. So Nucleon is like straight up one of the like biggest gods in the game. Nucleon was probably definitely my second strongest Pokemon in the game, next to my starter. Next up is the Punk Graffiti Rats. As stupid as the Punk Graffiti Rats are, I think I'm going to give them both good design marks because I thought they were at least interesting looking. Especially the way you encounter them was a pretty much... You basically encounter them in a back alley and it's like a guaranteed encounter, but sometimes it resets. Next Pokemon... You know what? I'm going to straight up give this good idea, good design, God tier. Okay. All right, I'll get right back to that. All right, where was I? Okay, yeah. So next Pokemon I'm going to put on the God tier is the Griffin Pokemon. So the thing about the Griffin Pokemon is this is a Pokemon you get from a trade like Lickitung, but you get it from a trade in a city that's literally covered with statues of these Griffin Pokemon. Although it might literally be these Griffin Pokemon. Also, even though it's a Pokemon, it barely moves. So, like, there's a lot of complexity going on with this Pokemon. And I'm actually pretty impressed with it. Next thing in the God tier category is the weird two-faced peacock thing. I want to say its name was like Mask King. Mask King was basically like a reskin of that weird fox from like Black and White. What is that thing called? They just brought it back in Legends Arceus. Shit, I'm like completely blanking on it. It's like a fox and it's black, and then they made a white one in Legends Arceus. Damn, I really can't remember that thing. Anyway, Masking is the equivalent of that in Uranium. Masking is pretty alright, although it has a stupid evolution called Drama-sama. Drama-sama, I don't know. I'm just indifferent to that one. I think it looks too corny. It's a good evolution for Masking, but it's not a good Pokemon. Next up, in terms of God tier, was the legendary Pokemon Bugmater, something like that. Insectimator, something like that. Insectinator? I don't know. Anyway, so this Pokemon is actually the queen bug that makes all the elemental bugs in this game. And what's actually really interesting is you don't actually catch this Pokemon. You get a royal jelly, and then you can evolve any of the Pokemon of its family into it. So that's actually a really interesting concept. And because of that concept, because it's the fact that it's a legendary that evolves from a non-legendary, I actually haven't made this Pokemon yet because I'm like actually like kind of slightly paranoid. I'm going to make a bad Pokemon into a legendary Pokemon, and I don't want to do that. So I just never made that Pokemon. Next up was, I want to say, some kind of ghost ant bug Pokemon. I'm going to categorize this as a good idea. It was very similar to Rotom in this game, but not as cool. So yeah, that just kind of exists in there. Continuing on with the good idea category is Chupacabra and Chupalibre. Chupacabra is based on the Chupacabra. It's some kind of poison type. And then Chupalibre is its evolution where it evolves into a Mexican luchador. I think it's pretty funny that they took like two different aspects of like Mexican folklore and like tied them together as Pokemon. And it actually really works. So all in all, that's not a bad set of Pokemon. Next up, in terms of God tier, is the Pokemon that's just the. It's like a cursed substitute doll, and it's very similar to like Mimikyu, but not exactly the same. But it's cool because it lets you have the substitute doll as like a Pokemon, which is like what made like Missing Nose so like infamous back in the day because it used to like look like a substitute doll. Hell, if anything, I think this Pokemon might be like loosely based on Missing No. That's got an evolution. The evolution, I don't know. I'm not really sold on the evolution. The evolution's just kind of creepy. I think it would be a good idea if there was like an evolution of like Mimikyu like this though. So I'm going to categorize it as a good idea just because it evolves from being a creepy doll Pokemon to something more. Next up is the Ice Rabbit family. So this is another Pokemon family with like two branching paths. So the first form is like a Lopsidog, but then one form evolves into a rabbit on skis, and the other form evolves into a bear on a surfboard. I don't really think they're the best designs, but I do think the idea of a skiing and a snowboard Pokemon are really good ideas. So for that reason, they get in the good idea category. After that, the next Pokemon on the list are the Ice Bug category. And these are pretty late in the game for bug Pokemon. In terms of these Pokemon, I actually never fully evolved the final evolution. And I actually think the second form looks really bad. It looks like a diamond wearing a bicycle helmet. So that one gets a cringe, but otherwise I'm just kind of indifferent to this line. Next up is a weird like Moose Dragon line of Pokemon. The Moose Dragon Pokemon, I'm going to give them good design because they're not the best Pokemon, but I did think the designs were fun. One's like a moose in a blanket and one's just like a big ass moose. Continuing on with the good design Pokemon. All right, so God tier, Shrimputy. Shrimputy is like literally such a good idea. It should be a real Pokemon, but will never be a real Pokemon because they don't want Pokemon with guns. Its evolution, I forget the name of its evolution, but its evolution is basically just budget Clawitzer though. So even though Shrimputy is a God tier, its evolution is bad. Next Pokemon that I thought was a good idea is Lavent. Lavent's pretty badass too, but I don't know. It's not perfect. It was also a really annoying Pokemon to fight, so that's why it just gets categorized as a good idea. Next up in the God tier category is Pirate Cubone. I thought Pirate Cubone was like the regional variant of Cubone for this game. He was pretty cute. I fought him a bunch of times. He has two evolutions, but I haven't unlocked either of them. And I'm kind of shocked that he has two evolutions. So since I didn't actually encounter his evolutions, I'm indifferent to them. Next up is the Raptor Pokemon. The Raptor Pokemon is an electric raptor. It's very similar to Velozolt from like Sword and Shield, except you can't actually get Velozolt. So I'm just going to put the Raptor Pokemon in good design category. Then after that was like a golden crocodile Pokemon. I literally just got this on my last day of playing. I found the fossil in a cave and brought it back to life. The gold fossil Pokemon, I guess I'm indifferent to it. Actually, okay, so I'm indifferent to its evolution because I never saw the evolution before. But I do think that its first form, where it's got this stupid grumpy face, has a better design than like most of the Pokemon in this game. After that is the freaky goo bug guys. The goo bug dries, I'm indifferent to the baby form. The bigger form, I'm going to give good design just because it's interesting looking. After that is the Xenobite family. So the thing about the Xenobite family is they're loosely based on the movie Aliens. Because again, this Pokemon takes some like kind of low shots that it can take because it's a fan game. Xenobite family is pretty amusing, so I'm actually going to give the whole Xenobite family God tier status because they were such a good idea. After that, continue on with good idea, is Hazard Suit Guy. Hazard Suit Guy is like loosely based on like Breaking Bad or the Minions or something. I feel like it's a good idea considering the topic of this game. But I also don't like that they use it as a Deus Ex Machina at the end of the game to clean up all the radiation. That feels like a cheap win. Next up is Geigerroach. In my opinion, Geigerroach is also God tier and should just be a real Pokemon. After that is the Unicorn family. I don't know where the Unicorn family comes from, but there's like a unicorn and that evolves into an evil form and a good form. I'm super indifferent to the Unicorn family. I never caught the unicorn. I never evolved the Unicorn family, so just no thoughts on them whatsoever. Then it looks like there's some Chinese dog Pokemon next on this list, but I never saw any of these Chinese dog Pokemon. So that kind of mystifies me. In terms of Chinese dog Pokemon, we've recently got like Hisuian Arcanine and like Legends Arceus. I'm going to say these Chinese dog Pokemon, they're good ideas. Okay, let's do this. The first form is a good idea. The second form is a good design. The third form is a good design too. Then after that, with more stupid ideas, there are two Pokemon based on Daft Punk. The Pokemon themselves are kind of cool. They're like electric ghost types. They're kind of like the Rotoms in this game. But I don't know how good an idea it was basing Pokemon on like Daft Punk. I mean, considering they like base Pokemon on like other celebrities, or they didn't do that rather. So yeah. Also the fact that Daft Punk have broken up by now and they're like old news is like another like head scratcher in terms of these guys. So I'm really not sure where to place these guys. I never caught them, but I fought them a bunch. I don't think they're a good idea. I don't think they're a good design. I guess I'm just kind of indifferent to them because I'm not sure how I feel about them, and I don't outright hate them, but I don't love them either. Next up was a series of weird ground rabbits. The ground rabbits are kind of hard to place as well. I think this didn't need to be a 3-stage line. I think it could have survived with just like the last 2 stages or like the first and third stage. So I'm going to categorize the second stage as cringe because I don't think it needs to exist. And the first stage and the third stage I'll categorize as good design just because I thought it was good enough. Next up is the Yatagarasu Pokemon family line. These are another Pokemon that are hard to categorize because, again, I feel exactly like the last batch of Pokemon. I feel like they didn't need to be a 3-stage line. I feel like they could have worked as a 2-stage line. That being said, with these Pokemon, I love Yatagarasu. But with like the Turkey Vulture and like the baby form, I'm like way less keen. I guess I'll say the Turkey Vulture is a good idea and the baby form is a good design, but honestly, one of them needs to go and one of them needs to stay. Next up are the Devil Form Pokemon. I thought the Devil Form Pokemon were actually a really good idea for this fan game because, like, with all this fucking, like, American preachers being like, Pokemon's the devil, Alakazam is a Satanist, and all that shit. Like, you would never get, like, devil Pokemon, so I feel like the creators of this game, like, really, like, took advantage of an opportunity to make devil Pokemon. So I'm going to give the final form Devil Pokemon a God tier status because it's basically this game's Dragonite. And it's a really good idea for a Dragonite equivalent. The other forms, I'm just going to categorize them as good ideas because fuck it, you have to have a 3-stage Devil form line. Next up is Garlic Kid. Garlic Kid is a weird Pokemon. It basically serves a story. It basically serves as like a character in the story, and it's like a kid made of garlic. He's really buff too, and he like acts like a superhero. I guess it's not a bad idea that there's a Pokemon based on a superhero, but I thought he just looked kind of stupid, so I'm going to categorize him as a good idea. Because I did like him, I just thought he was stupid. Although he did save my life once. The next Pokemon I'm indifferent to are the legendary Sea Trio. So the thing of it is, because Pokemon Uranium got canceled, these Pokemon never got implemented into the game, but they were a legendary trio based on sea monsters. You got a squid, you got a whale, and you got a sea serpent. So I think that's actually a really cool, unique idea for a legendary trio. I just am sad it didn't actually get implemented into the game, so I can't categorize it. Next up is Lathan and Aktan, the two legendaries of the game, which are both based on Heatran in a weird way. I'm going to categorize Lathan as a good idea, but it's way too similar to Heatran to be a good design. Although I did like that when you're trying to catch it, it has like priests protecting it, and you basically have to defeat them to catch it. That was actually really cool for a legendary Pokemon. Aktan, on the other hand, Aktan is just straight up God tier because it's like one of the main Pokemon of the game. After that is Urani. Urani is also a God tier Pokemon because it's literally the signature Pokemon of the game. It's a man-made Pokemon like Mewtwo. It's got a Mega Evolution. It's really hard to stop it. And the last Pokemon I'm not even going to touch on because they're not actually in the game. They're Pokemon that were scripted to be added to the game, but again, the game got shut down by Nintendo, so they're just not in there. Okay, so that is my final ranking for the Pokemon Uranium Pokemon. Just going over these again, Pokemon Uranium was pretty fun. I liked a lot of the Pokemon. Like most of the Pokemon in the cringe category, I just thought had bad sprite work or they were bad ideas. These Pokemon, I'm indifferent to them because, again, they were also bad ideas. These are the Pokemon I thought had good designs. Pretty much all these Pokemon have like pretty unique looks. And all these Pokemon I thought were good ideas, but I thought either their sprites were a little bad or, something about them just didn't make them like go all the way compared to like other Pokemon. And then lastly, these are the best Pokemon in like Pokemon Uranium. So let me know if you guys like really care about what I think about Pokemon Uranium. It seems like Mr. Banana actually did, so shout out to you, Banana. Thanks for your support. If you guys really care, I will eventually review Pokemon Uranium because I think it's actually like an unsung gem of like the Pokemon franchise and like a real triumph of a fan game. So yeah, there's definitely a few positive things I can say about Pokemon Uranium aside from this like 1 hour review of its Pokedex. So yeah, check out Pokemon Uranium, I guess. All right, I'll be around later.